PMBOK 8 is out, and most PMP candidates have no idea what to do with it. Some are ignoring it completely, and some are trying to memorize it like a new textbook. Both approaches are wrong. In this video, I'm going to show you the three differences between PMBOK 7 and PMBOK 8 that actually matter for your exam score, and exactly what to do about each one. Let's get into it. Before the three differences, a quick 67 context so you understand where PMBOK 8 fits in the evolution. PMBOK 6 was process heavy, knowledge areas, process groups, inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs. The ITTOs that dominated PMP prep for years. Memorize everything, know every process. PMBOK 7 was a significant shift in direction. PMI moved away from process-centric guidance and replaced it with 12 guiding principles and 8 performance domains. It was principles-based and outcome-focused, but many practitioners found it too abstract for real-world application. PMBOK 8 is the bridge. It keeps the principles-based direction of PMBOK 7, but brings back structure in a practical, non-prescriptive way. That's the arc. Now let's get into what actually changed. Difference number one is the principles, and it's the change most candidates either overlook or overcomplicate. PMBOK 7 introduced 12 guiding principles. Be a steward, focus on value, embrace adaptability, navigate complexity, optimize risk responses, and so on. 12 principles that were conceptually sound but hard to translate into daily decisions. PMBOK 8 reflects a refinement of this. The framework is described as having 6 principles that are more focused, more actionable, and more directly connected to how project managers actually work. The 6 principles in PMBOK 8 are: adopt a holistic view, focus on value, embed quality into process and deliverables, be an accountable leader, integrate sustainability within all project areas, and build an empowered culture. Here's the key shift. Sustainability is now explicitly one of the 6 principles, and it's also explicitly tested on the July 2026 exam. That connection is not a coincidence. Here's what this means for your exam preparation. The principles are not something you memorize as a list. They are the reasoning framework behind every correct answer on the exam. When two answers both seem reasonable, the one that aligns with a leader who is accountable, value-focused, and stakeholder-aware is almost always the right one. Think of the 6 principles as the lens the exam uses to evaluate your judgment, not a list of facts to recall under pressure. From PMBOK 7's 12 abstract principles to PMBOK 8's 6 practical ones, the direction is the same. Difference number 2 is the performance domains, and this one has a direct measurable impact on your exam score. PMBOK 7 organized guidance into 8 performance domains: team, stakeholder, development approach and lifecycle, planning, project work, delivery, measurement, and uncertainty. PMBOK 8 reflects a realignment into 7 domains that map more closely to what project managers actually do day to day: governance, scope, schedule, finance, stakeholders, resources, and risk. 2 things stand out immediately. Governance is now a standalone domain. Finance is now a standalone domain as well. Both of these were embedded in other areas in PMBOK 7. This aligns closely with the direction of the July 2026 exam content outline. Here is the direct connection. The July 2026 ECO expanded business environment tasks from 4 to 8, doubling them. Governance, compliance, value delivery, and sustainability all live here. This isn't a coincidence. It's PMBOK 8 directly informing what gets tested on the July 2026 exam. Here's the practical implication. If you've been studying primarily from materials built around PMBOK 7's 8 domains, particularly the planning, project work, and delivery domains, you are underweighting the areas the July 2026 exam is now emphasizing the most. And as a result, you may want to consider writing the exam prior to the July 8th retirement of the current exam. The shift from measurement and uncertainty as standalone domains towards governance and finance as standalone domains signals a move from how projects are managed internally toward how projects are governed and justified externally. PMI is testing whether you think like a project manager who is accountable to the organization, not just to the project team. I covered the full domain weight breakdown and what it means for your study plan in the previous video. The link is in the description. If you haven't watched that one, it provides the context that sits behind everything in this video. Difference number 3 is the one that's causing the most confusion and the most dangerous misreading among PMP candidates right now. PMBOK 8 brings processes back, 40 of them, organized under 5 focus areas similar to process groups. And when candidates hear processes are back, some of them go straight back to ITTOs. Do not do this. PMBOK 8's 40 processes are non-prescriptive. That word matters. They describe how work is commonly performed, not how it must be performed. There is no ITTO memorization required. There is no what are the inputs to this process questions on the July 2026 exam. Here's the distinction. PMBOK 6 was very prescriptive that had candidates memorize the processes. PMBOK 8 is non-prescriptive. PMI is looking for candidates to understand the intent and apply the judgment. The exam tests the second one. Here's what the 5 focus areas look like in practice. Think of them as updated process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing, but reframed around value delivery rather than process compliance. What PMBOK 8 is actually doing with this change is giving practitioners more practical guidance than PMBOK 7 provided, without going back to the rigidity of PMBOK 6. It's the framework saying, here are 40 ways work commonly gets done. Here are the principles behind why. Now, apply your judgment to the context in front of you. This is exactly what the July 2026 exam is testing. Not whether you know the process, it's testing whether you can apply the judgment. Everything we just covered in PMBOK 8 connects directly to what the July 2026 ECO is now testing. Let me show you the direct line. The 2021 exam, the one retiring on July 8th, had business environment at 8%, 4 tasks, and was relatively lightweight. The 2026 exam has business environment at 26%, 8 tasks, more than triple the weight and double the tasks. So what's in the expanded business environment domain? Governance, compliance, value delivery, sustainability, risk management, organizational change, and external environment scanning. Every single one of those areas maps directly to PMBOK 8's updated performance domains, specifically governance, risk, and the new sustainability emphasis. The time allocation has also changed. The 2021 exam gave candidates 230 minutes to complete the exam. The July 2026 exam gives you 240 minutes, 10 extra minutes, and that reflects the increased complexity of the new question formats. I want to spend a moment here on the question format specifically, because two of them are genuinely new and most candidates haven't practiced for them at all. Quick note first, the other question formats such as drag and drop, hotspot, matching, and pull down lists, I covered all of those in detail in the last video. You can find the link in the description below. And if you haven't watched that one, I suggest you do that after this video. Today, I'm focused on the two the July 2026 ITTO explicitly marks as new. Case or scenario questions are the first new format. Here's how they work. You'll be presented with a detailed situation, a project description, a business context, a decision-making scenario, potentially with charts and graphs included. After reading everything, you answer a series of related questions, all based on that same scenario. This is fundamentally different from a standard multiple choice question. On a standard question, each question stands alone. On a case question, you are building a picture across multiple related questions from one scenario. If you misread the scenario up front, you can lose points across several questions at once, not just one. So here's how to handle it. Read the scenario once for context. Then read each question before rereading the relevant part of the scenario. Do not answer from memory. Go back to the scenario for each question. Consistency matters more here than speed. Graphic-based questions are the second new format. Here you are shown a visual, a chart, a graph, a diagram, an image, and you answer questions based on what it shows. The visual is the source of truth here, not your prior knowledge. Where candidates struggle with these is speed. Reading and interpreting a visual under time pressure is slower than reading a text-based scenario. If you have never practiced with graphical project artifacts, such as schedules, stakeholder maps, risk matrices, and earned value charts, these questions will cost you more time than they should. So here's how to handle it. Practice reading project visuals during your study period, not just answering questions about them. The faster you can extract meaning from a schedule or a chart, the less time pressure you feel on these questions in the exam room. The 2026 exam also adjusted the scoring structure. According to the July 2026 ITTO, 170 questions are scored and 10 are unscored pretest questions. Compared to 175 scored and 5 pretest questions on the 2021 exam. Same 180 total. But more pretest questions means PMI is actively developing and is validating new question content for future exams. The direction of travel is clear. The direct line here is that PMBOK 8 updated the framework. July 2026 ITTO updated the exam to reflect it. Business environment tripled. Governance and sustainability are now heavily tested. Complexity of questions increased. The 2021 exam was testing whether you could manage a project. The 2026 exam is testing whether you can lead one strategically, responsibly, and with business accountability. The shift from project manager to leader is the entire story of PMBOK 7 through PMBOK 8, and the July 2026 ITTO is the exam catching up to that story. 3 concrete adjustments to make to your study plan based on everything we just covered. First, if you're still memorizing ITTOs, stop. The 40 processes in the PMBOK 8 are non-prescriptive, and the July 2026 exam is not testing whether you can recite them. Move that time into scenario-based practice immediately. Second, if you are writing the exam after July 8th, add governance, sustainability, and value delivery to your study plan explicitly. These aren't minor topics in the 2026 exam. Business environment has more than tripled, and 8 of its tasks now cover these areas. If you are underweighting them, you have a measurable gap. Third, use PMBOK 8's 6 principles as a reasoning lens, not a memorization list. When you're practicing scenario questions and you're stuck between 2 answers, Ask yourself which answer reflects an accountable leader focused on value, stakeholder alignment, and sustainable outcomes. That reasoning will get you to the right answer more reliably than trying to match a process or rule. Before the close, the reassurance section. The three domains, people, process, and business environment, are staying. Their names haven't changed, the structure hasn't changed. The judgment-based testing approach hasn't changed either. It started with PMBOK 7 and PMBOK 8 continues it. If you've been building scenario-based thinking, you're building the right skill. Stakeholder management, communication, risk, and leadership are still the foundation of how the exam tests you across all three domains. Everything in PMBOK 8 builds on those fundamentals. It doesn't replace them. And the most important thing that hasn't changed, the PMP tests judgment, not memory. PMBOK 6, 7, and 8, that principle has only gotten stronger with each iteration. If you've been preparing consistently and practicing scenarios, you are building exactly the right skills for the July 2026 exam. PMBOK 8 is not a reason to panic. It's a reason to study smart. Here are some quick resources before you go, and I have links to everything in the description below. If you haven't watched the two companion videos to this one, start there. The first covers the July 9th changes, including the fee increase and the decision framework for whether to test before July 8th or wait for the new exam. The second covers the 3 study shifts every July 2026 candidate needs to make, including how to answer AI questions on the exam. For scenario practice right now, check out the Think First series on this channel. Those videos walk through the exact types of exam questions the July 2026 exam is built around. We also have the free 2026 PMP Survival Guide. You can find a link in the description. This document covers the exam structure, 12 reasoning patterns PMI tests, and a 7-day sprint strategy to use leading up to your exam day. This is a free download. And if you want the full structured path, the 4E PMP Accelerator is an 8-week course built for the July 2026 exam and aligned with the PMBOK Guide 8th edition. Full mock exams, weekly quizzes with 3-part answer rationale, and a course completion certificate for your 35 contact hours. It's $97 US for a limited time. You can find the link in the description below. And if you found this video useful, please subscribe, like, and drop a comment below. This really helps us reach more project managers that could benefit from the information we are providing. Thanks for spending time here with me today. I'm Stephen Blakeney, and I will see you in the next episode.